Hello viewers, welcome to another episode of Agriculture for Today and Tomorrow, where we promote smart solutions for greener harvests. You know, here we try to ensure that we support the food security plan that is being developed in Nigeria. And how do we do that? By encouraging private individuals, farmers, and every other person to adopt sustainable practices, which has been agreed globally all over the world as the solution to food insecurity in Nigeria. Today we are going to be talking about how to implement biosecurity in the farm, and this is the second episode, part 2. Remember, we had started that in our last episode, how to develop a biosecurity plan, and we are going to be continuing from there. You know, in the first episode we had established what biosecurity is and why it is relevant that every farm should set up a biosecurity plan. Now we have started the series on how to actually do it, because that is what we do here. Teach and ensure that biosecurity, teach and ensure that sustainable agricultural practices are being carried out, are being taught, and are being implemented. So let us go right into it, so that to ensure that we maximize the time. So we continue on our the plan for biosecurity. So how do you get the number? So we enter number 4. We go into number 4 now. Hygiene and sanitation. Hygiene and sanitation are key and integral parts of biosecurity in the farm, because if you allow your farmers to walk around in dirty clothes, and remember, this has been the former cultural norm, where if you are a farmer, you believe you have the excuse to be dirty. You see people leave their farms after doing ridges, after doing heaps, and they walk into the road going back home, and they are justified in their minds that they have a very justifiable reason to be dirty. But unfortunately, in sustainable agricultural practices, dirtiness is not part of agriculture. Hygiene is very, very key to ensure and keep a safe and healthy farm, and it is one of the key components of biosecurity. So regularly clean and disinfect animal housing, feeding equipment, and vehicles. Hand washing stations should be installed in all key locations in the farm. Safely dispose of manure and organic wastes to prevent contamination. You understand that in the farm, by the time you use your hoe in one region, for example, if you were farming, doing weeding or whatever farm operations you were doing in one plot of land, and let us say that that plot of land was infested by nematode. Nematode is a major pest in the soil that attacks the roots of most crops. By the time you carry that same hoe to another portion of the farm that does not have nematode, without washing, cleaning, and disinfecting, you have successfully introduced nematode on the other part of the soil. It is important that you establish a routine where for every demarcated plot in your farm, after work has been done, farm implements, farm machinery, workers should clean up themselves, disinfect themselves before they go into another place, meaning that in your farm there should be no cross-walking. If you come in the morning and 2 workers are assigned to work in plot A, 2 workers are assigned to work in plot B, on no condition should plot A worker be walking into plot B just to go and greet his friend, just to go and gist. During break time, they can all have a central break period, a central break location, breaking area, resting area, where they can sit. And of course, during working time, they minimize contact amongst themselves. When they are done, they should be going back to their plot. And for every exit and entry, there should be some degree of cleanliness or re-immunization, if I must use that word, back into the field. So it is important. Hygiene is very, very important, because by the time you use clothes that have carried some infestation from the farm, from other parts of the farm, remember, flood brings flood water, air, wind brings things from different various locations, and we keep on using these different things. And like I mentioned last time, people use gutter water to mix their chemicals and spray. You are not aware of what has been dead, what animal has died in the water, or what chemical has been poured in the water, or what contamination is available in that water, and we use it to spray on our food, the food items we eat. And most times you notice people even spray this 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 days to harvest, effectively allowing that contamination to remain in the crop that they are harvesting. And mind you, it is not all chemicals that easily wear off. You say, oh, don't worry, as they are growing, it will wear off. There are some chemicals that maintain traces of the contamination even 1 month after spraying. So it is important that we fix up hygiene. Talking about feed and water safety, I've already made a mention of water here, the kind of water we use, where we ensure that we also use clean water to do operations in our farm. The fact that you're spraying it on the crops does not mean that the source of that water does not matter. The fact that you're using it to wash harvested crops does not mean that the source of that water. People fetch water, maybe it was raining and then there is a puddle of water on the ground, they fetch it and use it to wash, or use it to wash their farming implements. This water most likely is washed out from the topsoil of another environment. It could be washed away from a mechanic environment where grease, where engine oil and all form of metallic contaminants have been infested on that ground, and then water washes off from there, pools in front of your farm, and you use it to wash your farm equipment. You use it to spray on your farm equipment or on the crops, and then effectively causing contaminants. And because there is no random spotting check for our farmers, these things go into the field, and in fact, the moment they go into the open market, we're not able to trace because we do not even have traceability in our farms. Now, water storage, feed storage, water quality, these are also key important components of our biosecurity plan in the farm. How do you store your feed? Do you store them in places that are wet? Do you store them in places that rain can have access to them? Do you store them in places that pests and rats and rodents have infested? And then rats, after eating in different places, rats are vectors. Rats carry diseases, and then they begin to nibble on your feed, the feed that you use to feed your animals in the farm, effectively crossing saliva, effectively crossing bodily fluids, and sometimes you even kill these rats and you're not careful the way you kill them. You kill them and spill their blood, maybe because of the method you use knife, you use stick to hit on it, their blood spills in the storage place. And then nobody actually intensely cleans this with disinfectants. And then you drag your feed, you spread your feed on that same ground, and then you pack it to go and feed other animals. Biosecurity entails that there has to be a plan for cleaning your storage facilities, whether you're storing inputs, you're storing feeds, you're storing tools, whatever you're storing. It is important that you make sure that your storage environment remains clean, constantly, routinely disinfected, to ensure that there is no transfer of diseases, of vectors, of pests from one part of the farm to the other. And then finally, we'll also talk about pests and wildlife control. Now, pest management is very, very important. There is actually, as part of biosecurity measures, there is what we call integrated pest management. Now, most farmers are very quick to always use chemicals. There is snake in your farm, you want to spray chemicals. There are birds are attacking your farm, you're looking for chemicals to spray. Rats are attacking your farm, you're looking for chemicals to spray. Flies are in your farm, you're looking for chemicals to spray. Sometimes these things are in your farm not necessarily because of your crop. Them eating or ravaging on your crop could be a byproduct of something else in your farm. Have you gone to trace, are there dead animals that are attracting this? Or, for example, if you get to see so many snakes in your farm, is there a place where frogs, is there a place where the things that snakes eat, is it close by? That is what you should attack, and that is what will reduce the number of snakes. Or in fact, is there a snake habitat around there? So most times the use of chemicals are not usually the solution to pest invasions in your farm. You must find other biological means. It could be relocation of those things. If there is anything that is dragging it, if there is a pit where there are frogs, you close that pit that is attracting some of the pests that are in your farm. You close that pit. Now, if it is because of your crops, you also find other biological methods. There are pheromone traps. There are different types of traps there are sticky traps that could be used to reduce the pests affecting your farm. Chemicals most times should be the last resort when there is a serious infestation and other means have proven unuseful. So, wildlife exclusion. it is important that we also, so that we do not force ourselves to get to kill, because most times when we go into forests, thick forests, bushes, to go and turn them into farms, we forget that these were habitats, these were dwelling places of other animals. So the moment we begin to set up our farm, it's also good we set up perimeter fencing, we erect barriers that will stop wildlife from coming into our farms and introducing different kinds of diseases or different kind of pests or different kind of organisms that were not around that farm. Because after a while, after 1 year, 2 years, it is expected that you would have conditioned your farm and you would have had only the beneficial organisms in your farm. What are beneficial organisms? We have worms, crickets. These are beneficial organisms that help to burrow the soil and create air in the soil. So it is important that we do that to ensure that we do not, in the process of managing pests, actually eliminate the important and the useful organisms that are helping our soil to open up, helping our soils to grow and become nutritious. That is all we'll be taking on this part of this episode of Agriculture for Today and Tomorrow. And I remain Daniel Black, your host as always. It is always exciting to share this knowledge, share this information with you. In the next episode, we'll be doing the closing episode for how to develop a food safety, a biosecurity plan in your farm. Thank you so much. Join us on social media as we continue these conversations. Do you know any other way of managing your feed, managing your hygiene, and managing pests in the farm? Drop it in the comment section on social media, and this conversation will continue. See you in the next episode.